Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Reese Witherspoon here, checking into my favorite hotel in Paris. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
I'm traveling with my Wells Fargo Autograph Journey card, so I earn rewards wherever I book travel. 5 times points with hotels, 4 times with airlines, 3 times on restaurants and other travel, and 1 point on other purchases. Phew, that was a lot. I need to lie down. Is the room ready?
Visit wellsfargo.com/autograph journey. Terms apply.
Hello, I'm Jennifer, and welcome to a special episode of I Talk to Ghosts. Tonight, I welcome to the Spirit Parlour Schulz from the podcast And That's Why We Drink. I was fortunate enough to talk to M during one of their Parasocial Club YouTube videos that you can find on the And That's Why We Drink YouTube channel. And our discussion tonight is sort of a spooky part 2 to that conversation. Join us as we talk about lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, and of course, we share some ghost stories. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy our chat.
Thank you so much for talking with me. We recorded for YouTube a little while ago, and I was like, I want to keep this conversation going. And so I'm really, really glad that you're a guest and
Of
to keep
course.
talking. So, okay, lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
You have mentioned on, and that's why we drink, you've termed it breaking into Wallace. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, it's I didn't realize how it would affect so many people because a lot of people reached out saying that it helped them actually fall asleep and they were having sleeping trouble prior. Yeah, I could never get myself to fall asleep. I have terrible insomnia. Last night I went to bed at like 4 a.m. I've just never been somebody who naturally goes to bed until the sun's rising. The way that I have been forcing myself to go to bed when I need to is I've like you said termed it breaking into Wallace, because the first time it happened I was I guess lucid dreaming, I guess is the phrase, but I was closing my eyes and visualizing. I think I was still awake, so technically not dreaming. But I was standing in front of this like concrete wall. And when I say concrete wall, I mean like the ones that were all in our high school gyms where it was like it looked like there were bricks, but they were painted over white or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
in case you need the exact visual. And for some reason in my dream, I was punching it. I must have already kind of been falling asleep for me to, and until the wall got soft, until like enough friction built that it started getting warm. And then the wall slowly kind of became putty, and eventually I was punching putty. And then I went into like a deep sleep after that. And so I certainly was losing consciousness, because the reason I say breaking into Wallace is because by the time I was falling asleep, I had decided the wall's name was Wallace. It was like, it feels like something only a dream person would come up with. So
Exactly.
I hope I'm explaining it right. But basically I visualized exhausting myself punching a concrete wall until it became putty. And that led to a whole bunch of people reaching out saying like, that was such a great visual to help me fall asleep. It's like literally visualizing yourself getting exhausted. And apparently it has turned into other things for other people. Some people have started to walk through Wallace. I remember that happened for me once, where the putty became so soft eventually you could peel through the wall and climb in, and then you're in dream world or whatever. But
Oh, wow.
anyway, I feel like I've been talking a lot.
No. I'm like wrapped over it. I'm thinking it's so much more engaging than counting sheep or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm maybe it's my ADHD, but I can count any time of the day. So that doesn't really make me sleepy. But
Right.
punching anything, I'm exhausted after one punch. So usually breaking into walls does not take very long.
Do you find that like it has led to more lucid dreaming? Because it feels like you're controlling the dream at that point and you're conscious of it in a way.
I think what's helpful for me, because I was never able to lucid dream. I was never able to do it like willy-nilly all the time. If there was like a night where I was able to, I was really stoked about it, but it's not a regular part of my routine. And I think the first stepping stone into trying to lucid dream, it was helpful when I was doing that because I was starting by having control before I fell asleep, and hopefully it just kind of kept happening once I was asleep. It at least helped me be a little more aware when I'm in my dreams. Like I definitely can now be in a dream and think, "Oh, I'm dreaming."
Right.
But then I can't get further than that yet. But I have a moment of awareness, and then it's like the dream gods find out that I know what's going on, and they shut that.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but there will be a moment every now and then in the dream where I'm thinking, "That's really weird that that's happening. Why is that happening?" And then it's like they redirect me to like look at something else.
Look at all this shiny weirdness over here.
Yeah, but I never had that awareness before, so it helped there.
It definitely feels like it's a first step to getting there.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's so many people who are fascinated with lucid dreaming, and the only time I have had a lucid dream is when I'm having a nightmare that is so terrifying that it's kind of that you're trying to force yourself to wake
Yes.
up, but instead I'm forcing myself to realize I'm dreaming. And as soon as I do that, I'm like, I'm dreaming. I can fly, and I can fly for a little while until I
Wow, that's
finally.
wonderful.
It is wonderful. It doesn't happen very often.
That's
It
crazy
does.
though, because usually if I'm having like a bad dream, that's when you're hoping that the lucid dream will happen the most, and it never happens. Like
Yeah.
at least for me, where I'm like, wow, I really wish I could fly away right now, and it's like, oh, actually, you're stuck here in hell. So I'm very jealous of your ability. Wow.
Oh,
How
no.
long have you been lucid dreaming?
I can't do it consciously. It just happens randomly every once in a while. And I've had a few out of body experiences as well. And I've also tried that quite a bit. And the last time I tried a guided meditation on astral projecting, it started with, obviously relaxing your whole body. And
Mhm.
then the guided walkthrough was to visualize and feel your feet getting heavier first. And
Mm.
then it caused my whole body and soul to feel like it was going down a happy fun slide, and the connotation of going down is not a good one for me, so I'm like,
I
no,
see.
no, 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 no.
That's interesting. My mom, she can't lucid dream, but she can force herself into sleep, which is incredible. I with breaking into Wallace, I can kind of loosely do it, but my mom, like, if I say it's nap time, in 60 seconds she's asleep,
Oh, wow.
which is such a skill. But her mentality of getting there is similar to what you just said of like feeling like heavier.
Mhm.
Hers was always like imagining. Hers is like, it sounds kind of morbid, I guess, but she essentially is visualizing being buried alive, where
Oh,
she's like, I think like a newer, nicer way of it is like what the pleasure that comes from a gravity blanket or something,
yeah, yeah, being tucked in, very
being
heavy,
being like,
yeah.
yeah, something sinking on you a little bit. But she used to describe it as like being bricked into something, like feeling the bricks on her feet and then like them falling onto her legs, and then like she only had bad visuals for it, and I was like,
Like,
I'm not doing that.
that's either like a call on the lottery or
Yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe. It's like,
But she
follow
always
me for more tips.
but it was always just the equivalent of just feeling really weighed down. So I mean,
Yeah,
but I think I'm with you. I think the woo feeling would freak me out too much.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I have had out of body experiences about less than a handful of times in my life, and my personal ritual for getting there is to be, okay, how relaxed can you get? Okay,
Mm.
how more relaxed? How about now? How about now? And then other times it has just happened randomly. There was one time I was taking a nap on my couch, and I woke up to the sensation of I'm still laying on the couch, but suddenly my upper body just drifted perpendicular to the rest of me.
Ah.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And then I think I snapped back and woke up, but it was very lucid in that state. And there was.
Sorry, when that's happening, are
Mhm.
you my how do you or are you in control of it at all? Because I was about to ask a question about how you keep control of that, but
I
maybe you don't.
haven't well, the experiences that I haven't gotten to the point where I can control it, because the other 2 times it's happened, the second time it happened, I was, in bed sleeping, and I was sleeping on my stomach, and I woke up to the sensation of falling forward into the mattress,
Yes, I've had
and
that.
And I knew, and I was like 5 feet down, and I went, whoa. And then all of a sudden I was floating just above myself on the bed. And I could see my partner next to me, and we had already had the conversation. He was like, if you ever astral project, try to take me with you.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'm glad you've had that conversation. Good.
Yeah. So I'm reaching for him. And as I'm reaching for him, this is what happens with me. All of a sudden, something is like gently pulling my ankles, and I'm being pulled away from the bed. Meanwhile, I'm like grabbing at him, and my hands are going through his arm like a little hamster, and I'm digging and I'm being pulled away. And I didn't
Like a ghost.
I didn't like the sensation of being aided out further out. And so I snapped back into my body, and I was awake.
I love that you're able to just end it. You just go, this. Sorry,
Well,
can I cuss on your show?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
I will believe it. But yeah, I don't know what that sensation is, but the first time I actually had an out of body experience, I was doing a like energy meditation, and I wasn't quite paying attention to it, kind of like reading a book, and like, oh, let me start over. And then I was doing the how relaxed could I get?
Yes.
And in that, I'm laying in bed, and all of a sudden I had this sensation of my feet rising. And it was a really nice sensation. It felt like it was being held, but also just floating up. And then all of a sudden my feet and my legs and my hips go up, and then they went back down. They went back up, and they went back down. And then all of a sudden I was just out of my body, and it felt like, the best I can describe it is, it felt like I was me, but I was part of everything. And it was this whole amazing feeling. And sometimes I was floating in my room, and sometimes I was in this big white room. And then I was suddenly back in my body, and then my legs would float a little, and then my arms would float a little. And then there was one final time where it felt like I was going to leave again. And I heard this rushing in my ears, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. And I woke up, and recalling all of it, I'm like, why that feeling of being part of something? I'm like, this world is just a wrapper, and we're all just buying into it. And we just shouldn't take it so seriously. Like, there's so much more. It's like, never stress out again. And of course I stress out all the time. You know, I buy into this world just like everyone else. So it was really this unique experience that has really helped me understand kind of what it could be like when we pass away a little bit. And I think that helps me with my mediumship a little bit as well. But it was this whole crazy, complicated thing. And so now I feel like if I ever have another experience, I kind of expect being let out by my feet again.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that when they're having like a near-death experience, that they have this realization of like nothing matters, but in a way where they're like, abandon the kids, it's fine. Like, they just like, there's something that pulls them in a way where they're like, nothing here matters at the end of the day. And so that's very interesting that you felt that, because I've never had, I don't think I've ever had that experience. I think maybe I did, but I was too stressed the whole time to even pay attention to it.
Right. And that was a couple of years ago now. And I've tried to do it again. And it's like, okay, was that just a extra special experience that I was only meant to do once? Is it something that I just need to work at? I'm one of those people that my mind never likes to shut up either. And so I feel like it's hard to get into that state in order to get there. But every once in a while, maybe we can be lucky. But I'm not someone who wants to try practicing every night. I feel like I'd get really bored trying and then get frustrated and stop. And that's not what you want to do, right?
Interesting. I think I would just go to bed frustrated every night that I didn't figure it out. I do have a vivid memory as a kid of like flying around when I was asleep. I remember like not being aware that it was my astral self, or I don't remember seeing myself in my bed or anything. I just remember floating out of my bed and then just woo, and like just swirling around and just going downstairs and floating through the kitchen. I mean, I can feel the
Mhm.
feeling of flight right now just thinking about it. Like, it
Mhm.
was such a cool feeling, and I think I've been chasing that high ever since. Like, I just, like,
Exactly.
why didn't I yearn for that? I just wanna fly again through my kitchen, but, um, I don't it's wild that it's just so hard to come by, or when it does show up, why? Like, what was going on
Mhm.
in that moment where I was more open to that, or, like, what do I need to
Yeah.
do? You know?
Yeah. What is the formula? Just tell us what spices to use. We'll do it.
Exactly. Did you ever have a flying, as a kid? I feel like it happens more when we're kids, maybe we're more, like, open
Yeah.
to that stuff, but
Well, I remember one time floating down the stairs
mm,
in our house, and we had discussed before how I think we did. Did we discuss how I used to sleepwalk as a kid?
I think so. I think it got briefly mentioned, but I don't, maybe not.
Yeah, and it's kind of the similar feeling of, you wake up and you're like, "Did that really happen?" Because I would recall having memories of that and stuff. So,
Mhm.
it's really hard to discern between the 2, like, did that happen, did it not? But, yeah, there was one distinct memory I have of, like, floating down our 6 steps from the bedroom, upper level to the living room, and it's like, yeah, like you, it's like, "How come that can't happen again?" And it's
Yeah.
like, we
It
have complaints.
I am I know. I feel like the whoever's in charge of letting people float when they're asleep, like, only shows up at everyone's house once, and like, you get one night with me, yeah.
Yeah. I have a quota, I gotta keep going.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely. Well, let's talk about ghosts a little bit. When we talked, you had so many questions for me. I have so many questions for you about
Oh
just,
my gosh, okay.
are there any, like, ghostly experience that you've had? I would love to hear more about your home. You talked about your grandfather visitation, which was very
Mhm.
sweet and loving and reassuring and nice. Tell me about the other ones.
I well, let's see. Well, I have my grandpa. He for the longest time, he was, like, my main ghost guy. I only ever saw him once, but it was, maybe this is, like, crazy talk, but swear I could feel him all the time. Um, or, like, if I talked about him, all of a sudden, it would just get, like, a little, like, goosebumpy in the room. Like, I feel like he was
Mhm.
very present, ironically, growing up. He passed when I was 7, and unfortunately, that means I didn't get to know him, but he was apparently so excited to be a grandpa, so part of me feels like maybe that's why he, um,
Mhm.
you know, followed me this whole time so he could still play grandpa. And the only other time I ever had, like, a real encounter with him was, my mom was always able to talk to him in her dreams, and I was always very jealous of that. So for years I was like, just show up in a dream, just show up in a dream, I can feel you around, I've seen you before. But he did a really good job of what's the right word, being diverse with the way that he came to people. So, like,
Mm.
every person had a different type of relationship with his ghost, which is so weird. Like, he I got to see him. I think I got the best one. My cousin always got him in pictures, which was super creepy. Like, she would be like, "Oh, come
Oh.
take a picture with us," and there'd always be something in the picture. My aunt would have, like, moments where he would just, like, show up in her house, like, she would just see him in the house. And then, just, like, walking by, or, like, if
Mhm.
she was organizing a closet, he would just be in the closet with her, and she would just, from the corner of her eye, see him there. It was very creepy.
Wow.
And my mom, I think maybe she also lucked out, she maybe got the best, but to this day, if she's ever having a really stressful week or something bad's going on, she can, before she goes to bed, say, like, "Dad, I really need you," and she'll have a full-blown 2-hour-long conversation with him in her dreams.
Oh, wow.
Um, and when she wakes up, she feels like he was really there. So, but I was very jealous of the dreams. I was like, "I never got to talk to you as an adult. Come on, blah, 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 blah." And I asked for years, and the only time he ever showed up in my dreams was the day I graduated college, and after the fact, I found out that he had always wanted one of the grandkids to go to college. And so, um and he said some weird phrasing, like, he gave me a hug and said, like, "You did good, kid," or something, some phrase that was a little
Mhm.
older.
Mhm.
And apparently he used to call people kid, which is, so that, and how would I know that? So
Yeah.
that was, he was my main ghost for a long time. After that dream, I haven't really felt him around as much. I'm sure he's still there, but I think he's lost interest. He's like, You did college, that's all I needed." Let's see, in my house growing up, my mom still lives in the same house that I grew up in since I was 4, and
Mhm.
first night there, I didn't know the word ghost yet, but there was absolutely something in my room, and it stayed in that room. It's still in that room when I go back today.
Mhm.
But uh, basically, my house is on, without triangulating myself. Well,
Right.
this is vague enough. It's on a battlefield. It's on an
Oh.
old battlefield,
Oh, wow.
and but we were also like in theory, the first we were new construction on that property, so it's not like anyone died in our house before we got there. But we think maybe there was like sheds or barns or farms. Like at some point, someone's
Mhm.
house was there and then collapsed. I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Um, something had to be there before 1996. You know what I'm saying? So like, uh, besides cannons and soldiers, I'm guessing that the ghost that has always been in my room was a soldier. Guessing because the only activity I've ever really gotten is like heavy boots and some like really strong, angry male energy.
Oh, wow.
And never luckily never angry enough to like physically hurt me, but definitely that energy where like I'm trying to sleep and I can feel it staring at me right here. Like
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
very intimidating. It was very much like get out of my room. But
Mhm.
I'm so confused because I'm like, the house was built for me, babe. Like this is my room. Like you were never here. Like maybe 3 floors down on the ground, that's where you get to be because that's where you were walking around and stuff. But up here in
Yeah.
this house, like why are you here? I don't know why he's trapped there. I don't know. I don't know. But he always freaked me out in the middle of the night, right next to my bed. You just hear like stomp, 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 boot steps all night long. Um, and eventually, once I left to go to college, when I would come back, I would like sleep on the couch because I was like, I'm not sleeping in that effing room
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I got to a point where I just said, like, look, I'm only gonna be here for like 2 weeks. Other than that, it's your room. Like, just leave me alone. Like, we neither of us like this. We've never liked this. We've never liked each other. I don't like you. You don't like me. But like, I have to sleep here. Like, just leave me
Mhm.
alone. And so I'll still feel it in my room, but it's not in my face. It's more like on the other side of the room. So at least we kind of
Mm.
like, I feel like we're both like crossing our arms and like just like sticking it out. And we're like, oh, when you leave, it's gonna be so good. Like, um, but he's never liked me since I was the first night we moved in. We were there before the furniture, so
Mhm.
like, and there were boxes everywhere. So I was just sleeping in an empty room. There was nothing in there but me and my sleeping bag. And I remember that night feeling something on my face, being like, "What are you
Mhm.
doing in this house?" Um. So anyway, I've
Wow.
rambled a lot and given you no time to speak.
No.
I'll just say those are the two
No.
main ones.
You are my guest. I want you to talk, and like I'm always fascinated to hear stories and everything. And yeah, when first moved into the place I'm in now, we were pretty much like mattress on the floor type thing.
Mhm.
And that night, the house was just creaking all over the place, like snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no, what have we gotten ourselves into? So it's funny how it either starts right away or it's this gradual build, right?
Yeah, yeah. Did anyone live in your house before you?
Yeah, it was a halfway house
Oh,
before,
yes.
and we hadn't heard until we moved in and had bought the place, and we moved in one August, and when October came around, my partner was taking his son trick or treating around the neighborhood, and we started to hear stories because you know how you kind of team up with other families who are going around, and one neighbor was like, oh, we were so glad to see a family move into the house, and she started telling him some stories, and apparently one of the tenants who was here um, died down the street in the ditch. So
Mm.
we don't know which room was his. I can speculate because sometimes we get um, odd smells in the house and odd presence and things like that. And there's been plenty of variety of the things that have happened in the house. And
Mm.
then there's definitely a lot of unsettled, uncertain energy that we had to kind of dissipate and try to soothe in the house because just transient energy,
Mhm.
displaced energy, that sort of thing. And it seemed like the backyard, even our backyard is woods. It seemed like the backyard was angry and upset for a while too. And it's like we've talked to the house like, hey, we're gonna do the best we can here and work with us and everything. And so yeah, it's been quite the journey.
I'm sure. Have you ever had any ghosts that like didn't respect the boundaries you set up?
It seems like whenever I cleanse the house and kind of try and clear the space, it works for quite a few months, and then slowly things start ramping back up,
Yeah.
and we have to do it again. But for the most part, my hard and fast rule is do not wake me up. Do not wake me up at night.
That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
because I'm kinda like you, I can have a hard time sleeping, and the last thing I wanna do is wake up with a ghost in my face or a spirit in my face. So, definitely, I hadn't told you this the last conversation we had. There was one morning where, I was still in bed, and Max was going to be taking his son to school, so what I thought was him waking me up. I'm kinda groggy, but I wake up to someone patting the side of the bed, going down the side of the bed, around the foot of the bed, and up to his side, and all of a sudden coming over to kiss me, and I immediately fell asleep, and when I woke up, I told him about it. I'm like, "Hey, did you come in the," and he's like, "No. No, I did
So
not."
someone's kissing on you now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not good. What about like did it feel like familial? Like maybe it was like actually a family member who came to visit you, or is it like someone's encroaching?
I think it was encroaching, and I was so half asleep and out of it that it it didn't even fully wake me up, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a really weird one,
What do you do
and
after that? Did you like I always feel like a crazy person talking in my house alone, but I'd be like,
oh,
"Okay, no more of that." Like,
oh, yeah, absolutely,
okay.
and I always thought about m I wish we could move the bed too, because I feel like
Mm,
if there's only one good place to put the bed in a room, then everyone always had their bed there, and then you have that weird
that's such a good point.
echoing energy. And, yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, we should move the bed, even if it isn't a convenient thing to do."
I had a situation. I know you listen to And That's Why We Drink, so
Mhm.
so do you recall the story of me being, I keep calling it poltergroped, which is like not necessarily the best phrasing, but
Yes, your sleepover, but go ahead and tell that story again for anyone who hasn't listened to it. I can't imagine them not, but
well, I was staying at a friend's house. It was a college house, and so, there's just it's talk about transient, like every year there's a new person sleeping in these buildings, and it
Mhm,
was UVA, it's an old school, so the building was very old as well, so I can't imagine the people just churning in and out of that thing.
mhm.
But one night we were staying with a friend in her house, and she had a really big bed. She had like a king size, or I I don't know, with her could be even bigger than that. But it was a big bed. So all of us were sleeping in the bed together after we went out to bars and stuff like that. And I was in the lineup in bed. I was the baby spoon. I was you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We all happened to be rolled over in the same direction, and I was the one that what didn't have anybody in front of me.
Mhm.
And I all of a sudden, while I was like just trying to sleep and looking out into the darkness, all of a sudden I felt someone's hand grab me on the butt, and I thought it was one of my friends from childhood. I thought she was being funny, and
Yeah.
so I went, "Oh, ha ha ha, very funny." And all of them were like, "What are you talking about?" And I, without even saying anything, because I didn't want to catch them in the act, I grabbed my phone and put on the flashlight, and I was gonna like catch them, be like, "Haha, I've
Mhm.
caught your hand on my butt." But when I flipped my phone over to my butt, there was a handprint of something touching my butt, and then the handprint swiped away. Like I saw the motion of like whoever I caught moved, but it was nobody lying in bed with us. It was like just the outline of a hand, and then you
Crazy.
saw the sheets move as if that handprint left.
Wow.
Um, and I was like, "What was that? And why me?
Uh-huh.
Why out of all of us? Why? Certainly out of all the pretty girls in the bed, why did we pick like the butch lesbian? You know what I'm saying? So, I'm interested in. I'd like to know what ghost is going around. I've never considered the thought of a bunch of queer ghosts, but now I'm honored. So, um, I'm hoping at least. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I got freaked out. I was like, why did anybody else have this experience? Later, somebody else actually said that they got their butt grabbed too. So I'm not alone.
Serial butt grabber ghost
But I
going
don't.
on.
But I feel like that was. I feel like it didn't really happen. I feel like they were trying to keep me from looking crazy because I was
Oh, I
frenetic
see.
after this. I was like, no, somebody touched my butt. I saw it. Um, and later on, we ended up moving my friend out of that room,
Uh-huh.
and she pulled the bed away, and there was a decomp stain. So someone had passed there. I don't know if
Oh
those are
my
even
gosh.
related, which I mean,
Yeah.
that's just two scary stories in one. But in my mind, it's the same person, but I don't know why that would be the case. I think it's just because
No.
I was lying on top of a decomposed stain. It was
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah. I
Horrible.
think, your impression of that and your impression of it being a soldier, it's like trust your impressions of things. It's like you don't know what kind of other subtle information is coming in that's making its way to your brain, and it's like, "Oh, why did I feel that way?" And it's like, "No, trust it."
Well, that's why I say poltergroped because I do think I'm like, what? Why did the ghost pick me? And so I really hope it was like a queer little cutie who like grabbed my butt, but also there was a decom stain, and I get the vibe of a man, and so that's why I'm more offended. I'm like, why didn't you pick one of like the like pretty little girls next to me? Why'd you touch my butt? It felt like personal. Um, but anyway, so I've carried that story with me for a while, and I found out later that the friend who we were staying with, she also had crazy stories that happened, and that
Mm.
where like one time she was shaving her legs in the shower and she put the razor down, and then she couldn't find the razor and it was sitting on her toilet. Like it was
Wow.
like this thing loved to mess with people. So
Yeah.
in that way, I'm like, hopefully the who grabbed my butt was just like some like frat guy who was just like, like just being like just trying to crack a prank, I guess. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
that house was full of stuff. So
But maybe I think that some people can be more of a ghost magnet than other people, so maybe you're just more of a ghost magnet than anyone else who is puppy piling in that bed that night.
mhm, yeah. No, it's it's I'm lucky that I also had like friends growing up where all of us had really weird experiences.
Mhm.
Um, so I've had uh I grew up in the same town growing up, but sorry, that was very redundant. I grew up in the same town growing up, but I had one, two, three, four, like 4 or 5 friends where our whole thing was after school we would go to this abandoned area. It was this old abandoned farm, and there was a house that was still there from like 100 years ago, and we would trespass, but we would definitely go in and out of there. We would like take things from there, which now as an adult I'm like so grossed out by because I'm like I definitely like just like ruined whatever spirit was at rest over there. There was one time that a bicycle was there,
Mhm.
and it was like an old bicycle. I feel like it like was belonged to the house, and we took it because we were like, oh, let's go ride around, and we could say that we got it from the abandoned farm. And
Mhm.
that summer was so weird. All of us had the most activity ever in all of our own lives. And there was something about that bike that really freaked us out after a while. It was like, it feels dark. And so we ended up bringing
Uh-huh.
the bike back and like
Oh, cool.
just in a field being like, I'm sorry. Like
Run away, run
we
away.
learned our lesson. We won't do that ever again. And like as an adult, I'm like, I should have never done that. But as like a stupid 15-year-old, I was like, woo, free bike.
I think that when we're little, we dream of, opportunities like that, like abandoned farmhouse. That's
Yeah,
amazing. I think a
amazing.
lot of people would have taken that opportunity. So don't be too hard on yourself about that because
Well,
so
I
many people are like, sign me up. I didn't have anything like that.
Well, thank you, but I also am very aware of, like, this spiritually, I feel like it
Hmm.
was wrong to, mess with any
Sure.
of that, but as a kid, it was so much fun to just, like, go crawling through an old house, and
Hmm.
every time you were there, because it was so creepy, you would just hear sounds, and you'd think it was a
Hmm.
ghost, and,
Hmm.
um, it was a really weird house and a weird setup, and it was truly abandoned. I mean, it was like it just looked like, the set of a horror movie, and every time you were there, you'd find something new, and you would go through the drawers because all the furniture was still in there. It was, like, truly
Wow.
abandoned. Like, the cabinets were, like, it looked like someone fled. The door was open, and there was, like, food strewed out of it. I
Wow.
I wish I knew the history, but I also maybe don't
Hmm.
wanna know.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and of course, when I'm 16, I'm like, "Nothing sounds more fun than hanging out in there." And so I'm like, when it's like, it looks like there's a true crime case, waiting to happen here.
Right. Now your fingerprints are all over it.
I know. But no,
Do
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you if you feel like that experience really kind of gave you the inclination to start ghost hunting when you were older?
Well, I mean, I always loved after.
Mhm.
Let's start the audio here. What's wrong with my mouth? Okay. After I saw my grandpa, I was really into ghosts,
Mhm.
and I I had just seen Ghostbusters, so I was like, "Well, I want to be a Ghostbuster," and I thought that was kind of all my interest in it. But then as I got older, I just kept having more and more experiences where it just always was with me, whether or not I got to make that decision. And then
Mhm.
once I got to high school, and the only really thing to do in my town was go into abandoned farmhouses. Um, then you're of course talking about ghosts, and so it was always there. That by the time I was into ghost hunting, that in itself was an accident, a happy accident where I was working at a museum, and I asked if it was haunted because every time I'm in an old creepy house, I have to know if it's haunted.
Me too.
And the guy who ran the museum, he was like, "Oh well, they people across the street do ghost tours, so I'm sure they have some information on the house. We'll go ask them." And when he brought me over there, truly just to ask questions for fun, I think it looked more like he was a reference for me.
Oh.
And because he just said like, "Oh, M's interested in ghosts," and didn't actually say anything about like I was just curious about the museum and didn't know if. And we don't that had already gone too far. Like he could have just said, "I don't know if it's
Mhm.
haunted," and
Mhm.
that would have ended my entire ghost hunting career before it even began. But the way that he said like, "Oh, well, I'll take you over and introduce you," and then only framed it as I like ghosts, it it just was perfect fodder for them to just poach me from my museum job and just take me over to their ghost hunting job.
Ah,
And
dream.
they
Dream
they
come true.
they literally just said like, "Oh, well, why don't you come on a ghost tour on Friday and you can hear all about ghosts." And part of me was like, "Ugh, I didn't even want to do this. I didn't even want to walk across the street and talk to these people. I just wanted to hear yes or no." I was trying to make conversation with this random man who owns a museum because I had to work here. And now all of a sudden I have to go on a ghost tour. And I was in college. I wanted to like go to parties. I was not interested in the ghost tour. But I went, and it was interesting, and afterwards they gave me $20 and they said, "Come back tomorrow." And I went, "Did I just get hired?" Like, I didn't even know I was
Wow.
interviewing, or I didn't. They just saw like a
Right.
college kid who didn't hate being there on a Friday night, so they just paid me. Um, and it just became, I was a tour guide for their ghost tour company, and then eventually it became I was like in charge. I was the only one that was allowed to be there overnight and like take the equipment home at night when everything closed. So they never gave me like a proper promotion, but I seemed to be more in charge of the ghost tours at some point. And then it became from there I went to go ghost hunting in other places, and it
Wow.
just so it was all a bit of an accident. But I guess the only reason I asked if the place was haunted was because I had an interest. So
Uh-huh. That's
um
awesome. Is there, a dream haunted location that you like, a dream haunting investigation that you can think of that you would wanna do if given the chance?
mm, you know um I'm one of those people who can't just answer a question directly, which is so annoying. But
No, that's okay.
if I had all the equipment in the world,
Mhm.
I would want to do like an Alcatraz or something
Mm.
crazy and big and scary. But like in my mind, I'm like logistically, what a nightmare. Like you have to have
Mhm.
cameras on like thousands,
Mhm.
thousands and thousands of square feet.
But you've been there, right? Didn't you go to Cell
I've
Block
been,
D and
I've been, but I haven't
okay,
ghost hunted there.
okay.
But and I've been a few times actually for a brief stint, and I don't even remember it because I was like 3. Apparently, we lived in San Francisco, so I'm sure I've been to Alcatraz even more times than I'm aware of. But I've been a handful of times, and I got real chummy with the guides there, and they let me go down to the dungeon area, which we're not supposed to do. So I've seen
Mhm.
some cool stuff, but I haven't had any ghosty stuff happen to me. I'd like to
Mm.
do that, or just a big jail in general. I'm sure there's stuff going on there.
I think my favorite opportunity would be any haunted castle in Europe.
Mm. Hey, I'm not kidding. If you this is a she did not even maybe I text her and double check if like this invite is truly valid.
Uh-huh.
But my neighbor, she just moved because she has ADHD like you wouldn't believe. That girl in the middle of the night impulse bought a castle in England.
What? How do you do that? How are you able to do? Oh my gosh! Wow,
And
what a dream!
and which apparently it's like 400 years old. It's incredibly haunted. And
Wow.
she wanted to turn it into a TV show. She was trying to pitch a TV show where she was flipping this castle.
Uh-huh.
And it being haunted, and like it was like this whole thing where she was like, well, I want to turn it into a hotel and all this, or I guess it already is a hotel, but they needed a new innkeeper essentially, and LA was getting expensive and she wanted out of the country, and she was like, I'll go be an innkeeper at a castle and slowly flip it into whatever. But
Wow.
she also knew I was into ghost hunting, and she was like, anytime you want to come to the castle and ghost hunt, you are always welcome. So if you
Okay.
ever need a
No.
castle to stay in Europe, I have one for you.
No, I think me, you, and Christine, I will be your medium.
Thank you.
Let's just go.
The fact, I mean, I love to know that if I were just in England randomly, like, oh, I've got a place to stay, I'm at the castle, it's fine.
Yeah. All right. It's like, oh, this old thing.
So if you ever need I'll look up the name for you, but if you're ever interested and we're both in England at the same time, we could
Oh my
definitely do some
gosh.
ghost hunting there.
We definitely should.
What do you have any local places? Like, I would secretly love to ghost hunt my own hometown.
Mhm. I would love to do a ghost hunt in the Seattle Underground. Wouldn't that be
Fun.
fun? Yeah.
That is some crazy history.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I went on a ghost tour of, like, Pike Place Market,
Mhm.
and that was really interesting and felt some things there. I didn't tell you this last time. I did tell you that I live in Seattle, but I split my time in Canada as
Oh,
well.
get the hell out of here.
I
Well, that
know.
you really buried the lead. Oh my god.
Right?
I
It's like,
love Canada.
why haven't we been talking about this the whole time? So, just right over the border, like, Surrey, the White Rock area. So,
Very cool.
if you ever need someone to take you around, like, Vancouver, I know all the spooky spots, and, like, I know you don't drink, but there's some amazing bars with amazing
Oh,
mocktails,
I
and
was
they're,
gonna say
like, spooky
Vancouver.
theme. Yeah.
It was Vancouver. I think it was in Vancouver. There's a bar, I have to remember the name, but it was the best mocktail I've ever had in my entire life.
Nice.
And
Was it
I
was
don't
it
remember the name at all.
was it, like, a spooky themed restaurant or just a restaurant
Mm-mm.
in general? Okay.
No, but I try to gear my mocktails or bar experiences at like speakeasies and all
Mhm.
that.
Oh,
Al-
yeah.
Although now speakeasies is so loosely termed. It's like it's a bar, but walk through a bookshelf first. And I'm like, okay, like that's not what I want. I want to feel creeped out.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was somewhere in Canada. But I remember thinking, I'll never have this drink again. This was the best thing in my entire life.
Nice, nice. There's also a place called the Black Casket Cafe. Went
Oh,
there. It's like gothic themed. Got lots of like just old-timey, morbid-looking things and antlers and, very, very witchy and gothic, and had a London fog there. So that was a lot of fun.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, have you had 'cause I only wanted to ask because my stepmom was so pivotal in me in
Mm.
encouraging me to like not keep up with anything witchcraft specific or Wiccan
Mhm.
specific, but have you been able to like have you had friends who actually came to you for help? And like
Oh.
I feel like it would be such a cool little badge of honor to be like, don't worry, I've got it handled.
Yeah, yeah. Like say someone needs to sell a house really quick, or trying to conceive, or just need something like the job interview going well, things like just lining up and going into place, that sort of thing. In fact, before we go today, I thought I could, because you were so interested in it, we could do a little blessing spell, but
Yeah,
before
that'd
we
be
go.
great.
Yeah. Cool. Don't let me forget about that.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, I know we've been yapping for a while,
Oh,
but
I don't care. We're good. I don't
okay.
want to trap you either. So
Okay. Okay. I wanted to ask you, like, of all the stories that you've covered on, and that's why we drink, was there one that really stuck with you, or you just felt like, oh my gosh, this is so creepy, I shouldn't be researching this at 2 a.m. and things like that?
yeah, there was I don't even know how I stumbled upon this one, but we were writing our one of our books, and A Haunted Road to Alice, and they I it's the Ohio chapter, and I was looking up spooky locations and places to visit in Ohio, and there was, I think it was called the Saddamsville Rectory,
Mm-hmm.
and that one really, I think it blew me away, one because I had never heard of it and it just fell into my lap, and it was this incredible story where I was like, how is this not discussed more often? But also it was just effing scary. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was, I guess, this old rectory that now is becoming a house, or this couple, they rented it out and they were gonna either, I think they were gonna move in there, but then thought about turning it into an Airbnb. At some point it was gonna be an Airbnb, which was horrifying to me. I was like, please don't make it an Airbnb. But like this one guy got weirdly attached to the house where he started going over there for hours nonstop, and his wife wouldn't be able to like get a hold of him, and she would go look for him in the rectory and he would just be sitting in a chair in the dark, and like,
Oh, wow.
or like he would just be sitting in the corner like mumbling to himself, which like, it's like,
Yeah.
it's just very creepy. Like you hope, you hope it's not like a mental health crisis, but you also hope it's not a
Mm-hmm.
poltergeist either. Like
Mm-hmm.
which would you
Mm-hmm.
prefer, um
Right.
so
Worse,
it's
both.
or both, yeah. But it was just very creepy how quickly this thing had a hold of him, and I guess his brother had recently passed, and now he was hearing like his brother's voice, and so it sounded like it might be lulling him into like this false
Yeah.
sense because he believed it was his brother, and his wife was like, I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
um but it was just very dark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it just freaked me out a little more because most of my stories I pick are, I don't know about lighthearted,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of them are people being terrorized in their home. But I try to, throw in like aliens or cryptids or something
Mm-hmm.
that's like easy to banter with. And that one was just scary. So
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Do you have a place like that where you're like, oh, that one really, that case freaks me out?
Anything that has to deal with like a spirit attachment and things like
Hmm.
that, I agree. That's, and it has like a really dark history to it, or it's just like you don't want to mess with that stuff just in case.
Right,
Just
right,
in
right, right.
case.
100%. I'm like, I don't know how true any of this is, but I don't need to be a gambler either, you know?
Yeah, exactly. How about the opposite? Was there anything you ever researched and you just decided, you know what, this just doesn't ring true to me, and I'm not going to give this any time?
um,
And you don't have to name names or anything.
no, no, no. I kind of an answer that you were looking for. I didn't know anything about the, um, I guess pun intended, dark side of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Mm, mhm,
Um, I knew that they were, on a lot of famous poltergeist cases and all that, and I thought, oh, that would be fun to cover them. And very quickly, I learned that there was like a lot more very controversial scandal going on behind the scenes
mhm,
about them.
mhm,
Um, but I mean, that didn't deter me from talking about it. But I
mhm,
I remember thinking, oh, my opinion is absolutely shifting as I do these notes, where I was like really
mhm.
stoked to learn about them, and now I'm like, yuck, no thanks. So,
Yeah.
um,
I kind
yeah,
of felt that way about, just wondering if things are sensationalized or not, right?
hmm,
With certain topics, and the Dybbuk box was one that kind of did it for me
yeah,
because he was trying to sell it and everything, and then it became this whole sensationalized thing, and then it's like story upon story, and very, very interesting, very, very spooky. But after a while, you kind of wonder, are we playing this up? Is it becoming a taller tale as you go? That
yeah,
sort of thing.
and that becomes it makes you really question your level of belief and stuff because
Mhm,
the Dybbuk box is a great example. I have been many times to the Zach Bagans Museum of Haunted, whatever, Haunted
mhm,
Museum,
mhm,
where he's just got like room after room of all these haunted things. And I don't know how much is getting. I for sure believe in ghosts, and I for sure believe that something haunted has happened there. Probably when you put enough haunted relics in one house, of course
mhm.
it's gonna fly.
Right.
Um, but there's it's interesting though because when I've been, the docents on the tour, uh, some of them are like, "You can go into this room. I will not go in this room." And I'm like, "Is that for show?" Like, I can't
Mhm,
tell if it's performative just to like make things scarier than they are. And one of those exhibits is the Dybbuk box, where the last
mhm.
time I was there, the docent was like, "If you want to go in there, but I will never step foot through that door." And I'm I was like, okay. And I was like, I've seen it before. Like I've seen it like a few times now. Like I've looked. I'm not gonna say her name because apparently just saying it curses you. But there's a specific doll that they have there that's known to be horribly not good. You don't want that energy. I've looked her in the eyes, like and I was like, why can't you get in this room? But you know what? I'm not there every day, and when you're there every day, you're more likely to encounter stuff. But so I don't know how much I fall for the everyone's scared to be there, because then like just quit. Like I don't know, maybe
Right. Why are you working here?
I don't know. I don't know where I stand on all that. So
But there's certainly the personality of, you know what, I don't want any part of it. You know, like it's just freaky no matter what, whether or not they had their own personal experience with any certain object, they probably just don't want to take the chance. So you just never know. Is it performative? Is it because they are very paranoid about it? Or is it because they had their own experience that they're not talking about?
Yeah, and it also makes you just go even further. It makes me think about capitalizing on morbid events at all, and then
Oh, yeah.
I feel really gross about that. And then I like, well, I literally have a true crime podcast, so like I also have to reconcile with that. And so in my mind, the way I've always seen it though is like, as long as you're respectful and like, let's say somebody reached out and said like, hey, can you not tell my story? Episode deleted. No, like
Absolutely. Yeah.
but like it's interesting at like that museum that there's like the Kevorkian van where like a bunch of people like had like assisted suicide and like really like it's I feel weird paying money to look in the van, you know, like that feels odd. So there's some exhibits where there was one time I went where a docent was like, I don't go in there, and I kind of got the vibe that she meant I won't go in there because like ethically it doesn't feel right. And I really respected that. And I don't know what's going on over there, but there's been actually some exhibits where like they needed to take it down, and they did. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I don't know. It becomes a whole conversation about like the ethics of true crime, you know, entertainment and all that. So
absolutely. If there's a family who there's something there that used to belong to their loved one or something like that, or just something that feels like I'm charging money and I'm taking advantage of this or glorifying it in any way, it's like, ooh, that's a slippery slope.
And then you almost hope that Zach Bagans is just a con man, and like all of these dolls are just from Goodwill. Like actually none of this is like ethically wrong to look at. He's the one that's wrong for making us think it's haunted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just a weird social experiment. So
what do you think of like the Winchester Mystery House?
Well, love the story. Love the house. I've been a few times and it's always fun.
Too.
During COVID, they actually had the entire house like not like 3D printed. What am I thinking? Like they had like a street view essentially, like you could click through it, like on Zillow, you could like
virtual tour. Yeah, virtual.
Tour.
Yeah.
And one of my COVID hobbies was I was trying to memorize the entire blueprint of the Winchester Mystery House, but like I kept getting lost. But so love the story. I don't every time I've been there, I've not felt anything spooky. And I feel like they've even said they've been, which talk about like, I think is like the most ethical thing. They have honestly said like, I don't think there's anything here. Or like, I've never experienced anything. And like, I know people say there's a ghost here, but I mean, it's also like a several 100-year-old house that creaks, and it's built in a very weird way where it can make probably a weird sound at any moment. And so I appreciate that they're very upfront with like, technically, yes, they say it's haunted, but there's a lot more interesting things to talk about when it comes to the mystery house than a ghost. So
it's interesting to see it, just to explore it. And I love the style of it and the era, and let alone the craziness. I've always loved houses that had unexpected rooms or secret doors or secret passages and that sort of thing. And it's just gorgeous.
There's like 6 in every direction.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part that you got to see? Because you can never see the whole house in one tour. It would take a year.
Of course, the seance room.
That's a great one where everything's 13.
Yeah, just beautiful.
So eerie. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's like the story behind it. And then that was the last place she was seen before she passed. And so there is something spooky there. I do like that. But also I never met her, obviously, but it feels like something Sarah Winchester would like do for the drama of like this will be the last place I'm noticed. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. Just for the flair of it all, she seems to love an aesthetic, a weird aesthetic. But
I can appreciate that.
I can appreciate it too. I really was interested in the architecture of getting 13 everywhere because that's such a weird number. How do you make anything look even and balanced with the number 13? But she would want 13 tiles. It's like, well, how the hell do you do that? There are 13 candles and 13 candle holders and 13 things on each of the wallpapers and 13 seats around the table. Oh,
window
God.
panes and all that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like-
Did you get to see the stairs that lead to
Yes.
nothing? Oh God,
Yes.
so weird.
So fun. So fun.
Have you ever been ghost hunting or like what do you call it when you're a medium? Like just going on a tour, like going to work?
Yeah, just living my life. Yeah, the old courthouse inn was one that I did in I can't remember the name. It is in Canada, Powell River, Canada. Went
And
there.
how did that anything memorable happen there?
Yeah, there was that was the incident where I had the cigarette smoke in my mouth, that taste, and yeah, that was crazy because I love it when I get clairvoyance where I get a picture in my mind. I love it when I can smell something, and I love it when I can taste something because those things are just so random and strong. That was the biggest thing that happened to me there was the cigarette smoke, just overwhelmingly. It was like I ate an ashtray.
Oh my gosh.
Don't recommend, but yeah, that happened there. And yeah, I would always be open to doing more ghost tours, and ghost investigations, but it's kind of like trying to line up schedules and opportunities and things like that. But you just never know. All of a sudden someone might hit me up and say, hey, are you free this month? And it's like, yeah, let's go.
Are you when you have something kind of show up in your mind, are you one of those people where you have to be like touching an item or like can you just before you even get in the house you get flashes and also like are they accurate pictures or is it like a vague thing you have to decipher?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. It has been accurate and has also been not accurate. So it depends. And like I always say that disclaimer where like if I see a dog, it means, yeah, there is a dog spirit. Is it necessarily the exact picture of the dog? Sometimes it's spot on and sometimes it isn't, but the personality is always there.
Sure.
That sort of thing. But yeah, and usually it's just a flash of an image. And sometimes I'm so up close to it that I can't even tell what it is.
Oh,
so
crazy.
that can be weird. It's like I gotta adjust the camera. Yeah, it's like I'm seeing a horse statue, but I'm like up against it like this. I can't explain it, you know.
But does that mean something too to like really look at the horse, or is it just that like your lens is crazy?
I honestly don't know. I really don't, and I can't will anything to happen to come in a certain way. I have to just trust that something will happen and it will be conveyed in some way. So really just keeping an open mind and expectations few as possible, just kind of getting out of my own way and my own expectations is really the best space for me to work in. But there have been times where like I did a reading for someone and I'm like, wow, I'm tasting the worst watered down beer I have ever tasted in my life right now. And I asked her, I'm like, did your grandfather drink? And she's like, no, he actually quit drinking when he was a teen and never touched it again. And I'm like, oh, this is a non-alcoholic beer. This is O'Doul's. And she's like, he used to drink that all the time at like special parties. I'm like, okay, that's what it is.
In some ways it's so cool, but I also do not wish to have that superpower where like you can taste beer. Like,
That would be the lamest.
I mean,
I can
it's a literal superpower. That's
I
pretty
I
crazy.
can rate beers from afar, and this one sucks. Great, thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, I hate it.
you gotta hope that they're all gonna have you taste like the best thing they've ever had. But I guess for that guy, it was O'Doul's. So
Yeah, it was just something he was trying to get across as a personal detail. I really love doing evidential mediumship, and things need to line up specific details, things you can't Google, things that aren't vague. I call it clairvagueness.
love
If
that.
it's just not, yeah, I can't claim credit for that term, but I really love it. And so you just never know what's going to come in and how it's going to come in. But it's really interesting. Every reading I do is like really fascinating, and it's like, what's going to happen today? It's going to be the best part of my day. I know it. And it always is. Yeah.
What was like the best? I mean, I know you can't pick between them, but like, what at the top of your head? What's one of like the best things that's come out of it?
Like detail wise, or just
Like best connect, like a really cool story where like you got someone to connect with somebody who like is there
oh,
anywhere like they told that you were able to help them find the family treasure or
there is one out there where a woman was asking where her mom put the Christmas stockings.
get
And
out.
And I'm like, okay, well, let me ask. And I go, it's not with the rest of the Christmas stuff, it's with the linens. And that made sense because it's like, you're not going to store your linens in the basement with everything else. So, like, go find the tablecloths and things like that. She hasn't gotten back to me to see if that has happened or not. But there's been plenty of times where I will say something and I'll say, well, ask someone who knows. And then they have that come back and say, you were right, is really fascinating to me because that tells me I'm not just reading them,
Sure.
that information's coming from someone else.
How is there what's the best way to put this? Is it just like a light switch for you where you can just turn it on and off? Like when you're with friends, can you just turn the light switch off? Or I want let me just say all of my thoughts at once. I am like very into ancestry and like I have all these questions about my family, and part of me just wishes I could just go like just check in and be like, is this right? Am I following like the right rabbit hole, or am I like learning about a random person who's not in our family? Like I wish I just could just tap into that stuff. Can you do that?
I definitely have my little mini rituals where I go and I'm like, okay, shut off the analytical brain, get into this intuitive space. And my analytical brain is so loud most of the time. I feel like I could hang up my medium hat and go about my life and it would be fine. Sure, it would break through every once in a while, but I don't think that and I think the spirit world respects you too, that they're not going to be hounding you at all times if you're not ready for it. But if you give them a microphone and a way to communicate, they show up. But for the most part, I'm living my loud analytical mind life, and it doesn't really intrude that much. But you mentioned touching things earlier, and I really do. I think that's called psychometry. I really do love to like go to antique stores and touch things and see if I can get impressions of things and everything. And I feel like I can give someone a better reading if they let me hold their hand for a second.
Cool.
Any kind of a physical contact like that is helpful. But the majority of my readings are online because that makes me more accessible, and I don't see any kind of barrier with that either.
Cool.
So yeah, it's all incredibly fascinating.
I the ignoramus part of my brain would just like I don't know how I know you have to do all these sets of rituals and things like that before you're able to tap into stuff. But I feel like if I had your abilities, I would just be chatting to my great great grandparents all the time, be going, "What's going on?" But are they even? I mean, this who knows for sure? But are they even sitting there like waiting for a conversation? Are they not? Are they like have they left this planet and they're just wherever they're off at?
I really subscribe to the theory of the multiverse, everything all the time, all at once. And They can be here with you in spirit. They can be off making a metaphysical omelet. They could be living something in the past or another life somewhere else. I think our understanding of what time and everything is, we're in our human bodies right now, and it's kind of like looking through this little keyhole saying, oh
Yes.
yeah, I understand everything with these 5 little senses that I have. It's like,
Great point.
no, we don't. Yeah.
Very
But
cool. I agree with the multiverse. I think we probably contain multitudes and we just don't know it.
yeah. And I find that very comforting. I don't want it to just be what you see is what you get. It's a very cold, dead universe when we just believe in
Right.
materialism,
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Before we go, and I do this little blessing spell for us, walk you through it because you're so interested in
Yeah.
green magic. Tell everyone, and I can't imagine there are many people who haven't heard of it, and that's why we drink. Tell everyone about your podcast with Christine and a little bit about it and where they can find it.
Yeah, so it's called And That's Why We Drink. It's a true crime and paranormal podcast. I cover the paranormal side where I talk about ghosts, aliens, cryptids, mystery, conspiracy theories, anything non-true crime. Christine handles the true crime, and we teach each other a topic every episode. And although it's called And That's Why We Drink, neither of us drink anymore, which is very funny, but that just goes to show the longevity of a podcast. It's been a while. So we've been around for a bit. So you can find us at HEWWD Podcast. You can also find me at the M Schulz.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been so great. I can just keep talking for hours, but let's do this again. Let's definitely do this again. Okay. So I have with me here, got my little mini cauldron. Okay.
Love it.
And I pulled some herbs before we met, things that I thought would be of interest for you. So this will be like a blessing spell using nature elements.
Love.
Okay. So I have hawthorn berry, which is wonderful at allowing you to lean into your imagination and your inspiration. It kind of connects you with your spirituality. So I'm going to put some of that in there.
This is so exciting. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Right. I thought
Cool. This is so cool.
I really thought you would love this. And I have peppermint for abundance and wealth, because who doesn't want a little bit more money, right?
I'll take that.
Peppermint is really good for that. So is basil and bay leaf. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I have lemon balm leaf, because lemon balm leaf is kind of like getting a spiritual hug. And who doesn't want that comfort in their life?
Oh my God, I'm so honored. I can't believe this is happening. So I usually do like my version of like a half witchy, and tell me if I'm appropriating and I should back up.
No.
But I love a simmer pot, and I kind of do
Perfect.
I do those things from like I put an eggshell in for protection and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But is there anything I should never combine with each other?
No,
Okay.
I think that, figure out what your intention is beforehand and
Okay.
then just add those ingredients. But, I wouldn't do a banishing spell and a drawing in spell at the same time. Like if you want something
I'm not.
Yeah. You're like, never trust me.
I just like cinnamon smells good. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm at.
Cinnamon is great for strengthening a spell and also making it work faster. So it's a really great, it's considered like a fire element, where it's like, ooh, I want this to act more quickly. So that you can always add cinnamon. And it's also just a warmth, comfort, vibe to it.
I could listen to you forever. Wow.
Oh, thank you. And we'll add a little bit of lavender for tranquility and spirituality, and some rose petals for love, wit, and luck, because who doesn't want that in their life?
This feels like a lovely catch-all. There's a little bit of everything.
Yes,
good.
exactly. Like who doesn't want a little bit of these elements? So what I do then is go ahead and take my little torch here.
Okay.
And light it up. And I envision the smoke just releasing the essence of these elements into the world. Let me try and light this a little. There we go. Okay. So hopefully you can see the smoke a little bit. There
Oh,
we go.
there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Beautiful.
So all these elements just releasing into the universe for us. Okay. We call upon earth, air, fire, and water to aid us and guide us as we seek our greater good and to be our highest self. And then you just imagine all of those elements and all of those vibes surrounding you, releasing them into the universe, working with you, being with you. So there you go.
I love
I
that.
set off my fire alarm.
That would be so jarring. I was living in such a peaceful moment. That would have been hysterical. A hysterical way to end it.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Minute. Yeah, it's
fun.
still going. Wow, look at that.
How long does it usually last? Is it just a couple seconds or?
This one is definitely going for us. Look at that.
I
think that's
needed
really
it. I
great.
needed it.
Yeah, right. So I'm sending all of that your way.
You know what's crazy? I'm being maybe just a little woo-woo right now, but I swear I just got like a full chill on my back, and I in my mind I'm like, oh, everything's just released. Oh.
Right. Yeah. I just for the ritual alone and working with nature and harmonizing with it, it's like everything has a vibration, everything has a frequency, and we bring these elements in so that we can help attune to them, and they can just help us and kind of just booster our energy and our power a little bit. But intention is definitely everything. I wouldn't say that someone needs a full apothecary to make things effective for them, but they're very nice focus elements, and having that witchy feeling in yourself is like part of it as well. It's like, look at me, I'm doing this thing, and I've got my crystals, and I've got my lighting, and I'm in my room, and got the outfit, and all of it can just support you. It doesn't do the work for you, but it can certainly just add to the mood and the energy, and it all just feels really great to work with. And anything that anyone is called to, it's like, explore it. If it's like, oh, I want to start with crystals, just start with one or two. If you want to learn candle magic, learn about the colors and things like that, or how to work with the moon phases, and you can go on and on and on, right?
That's exactly how my stepmom always talked about it, because it was never an overwhelming education. It was like, oh, dabble in this, and she was very much, very pro that it's all about intention.
Yes.
I know this is probably not a catch-all phrase here, but she, for the most part, was like, you can't do any wrong if your intention is right. And like, so I'm sure there's like you said, banishing spell, as if I'm just gonna throw one together in the kitchen. But like,
accidentally while making mac and cheese.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, if I put cinnamon and like something else together, am I like accidentally conjuring stuff? But but the intention is always like just comfort and relaxation and love and good things coming our way. And but I've always loved that. Not like it's a core tenet for her, at least. It sounds like it's similar with you. It's just that like it's all about the power of intention and manifestation, and that's just always been so wonderful to me. That I did not grow up in religion. I know a lot of people have been deconstructing their own religion in a lot of ways. But when it comes to this part of spirituality, it's always felt very safe, because there was never any judgment, and you could be at any level, and nobody is expecting you to one up yourself, and you can take from it what you want. And at least that's the vibe I've always gotten. That's the circle I've always been in, and I've always loved that. So and that, I was gonna say, with even to like be a part of what was it, a cleansing? Was it a spell? What
just a blessing. It was a blessing spell.
Like, that's so lovely. Thank you. That was really wonderful.
I really thought you would enjoy that, since you were asking me so many questions when we met over YouTube. So yeah,
100%. No, I anytime you want to teach anybody, I'm happy to be
Well, anytime
new
you want
student.
to learn, just give me a shout out. We'll have to exchange more info. If
Yeah.
email's not your thing, let's text or something.
Sure, yeah, totally. And I would love a simmer pot recipe if you've got one. So
Oh, I have a couple that are really good.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's like it's like my favorite tradition at night is to
I
have a simmer
can't,
pot.
yeah, I can't wait for the fall. I cannot
Ugh,
wait until like it cools off a little bit and simmer pots sound, cozy and
it's
yes.
wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me on your show. Also, I really appreciate you wanting to talk to me even more than
Oh, it
you
is
had
so
to.
it is so great to have these conversations with you and get to meet you, and we have some things in common, whether it's Seattle and London fog and things like that. So and ghosts,
Ghosts, yeah, that's a
so
big
many
one.
things. So yeah, this has just been a complete treat.
Okay, great. Well, no, I appreciate it. Anytime you want to keep chatting, I'm always down. So
Awesome. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Em tonight. Don't forget to head over to the And That's Why We Drink podcast and also check out their Parasocial Club YouTube videos on the And That's Why We Drink YouTube channel. I'll link both of those in the show notes for you. And next Tuesday, visit with me right here in the Spirit Parlor for more metaphysical discussions. Until then, take care.